You're watching Get the Skinny with your hosts, Brian Kilby and JD Church.
Yes, this is Get the Skinny episode 5. We started this like in February.
We have come a long way and yet not gone very far.
So let's get into that. So for people who have never watched this before, this is Get the Skinny, our diet and exercise and weight loss and general health and wellness podcast. Where officially, I guess we sort of try to take a look at things skeptically because there's so much BS nonsense out there.
A lot of junk science around weight loss.
Yeah, and we sort of try to talk through it, figure out what's good, what isn't. We are not doctors. You cannot trust anything we say.
We do not claim to be experts in anything.
In weight loss, I mean, look.
In particular, weight loss, medical, consult your doctor.
Yeah, consult that doctor. But we started this with the intention of not only helping share our journey through weight, as you can tell by watching, we're two big guys, but also, try to help ourselves keep to it and stick to it, because I'm about 100 pounds up from my normal weight. And I actually was 200 pounds above that normal weight. I'm about 100 pounds down from where I was this time 6 years ago. But I work in radio. People who watch Radio Free Cybertron and the other podcasts on the TF Radio Network know. But I did this sort of weight loss challenge on the radio station that I work for every Tuesday for about a year. And I lost a lot of weight really quick. And it wasn't the healthiest, safest way of doing it. But it helped keep me to it and obsess over it and stuff like that. But I figured that we can do this and help you, and we can help ourselves at the same time. We quit doing it for a while due to scheduling and the like, and my wife started, who is typically calls my podcast the other woman. She said, you got to start back on Get the Skinny. You got to do Get the Skinny. She really likes the podcast, and she actually listens to it, and she's looking at me now. So, JD, how have things been with you?
Okie dokie. I think one of the main reasons I think we had taken a hiatus is I had some medical issues and was sort of down and out for a while. So I'm sort of on the other side of that now and coming out of it. So and maybe better as well. Due to that, I've had a lot of dietary changes and things. So even though I haven't lost necessarily a lot of weight, I lost a lot of weight in the middle there. I think I'd gotten all the way. I think when we started, I was up at like 516, and in the midst of all the medical stuff, I was down to like 485 or something. I think I'm back up around 495 or somewhere in there. So, but it's meant a lot more fiber in my diet.
I love fiber,
and that's good stuff. And a lot more water, so that's good. Yeah. So. Yeah.
I got down to started out at about 350, got down to 343. Last time I weighed was 347. But I am like a pant size smaller now. I'm 4 pounds heavier, but pant size smaller. I've been doing lots of exercise lately, but it's been very little cardio. It's mostly strength training, which is what I'm like doing. So I fall into that trap of wanting to bulk up, but it's more like chunk up. But I add muscle and I add fat, and that invariably happens. I haven't yet mastered being able to, get stronger and bigger and bulkier and thinner in the waist. I mean, a little bit, but not like really good at that.
Yeah, that's been the thing with like the medical. I hadn't really been able to work out. So I think, my hope is now that I've made some of these like dietary changes, once I start to actually like walk and do those kinds of things, then I'll actually drop some weight pretty quick. It's also been hotter than Hades here.
It's very hot here. Yeah, it's very, very hot.
That has really not been conducive to trying to exercise, especially like walking, when it's like 109 every day. It's not a good idea to try to go out and do much of anything.
Yeah,
So.
I have a building in my lot here. I guess you call it 2 lots. My yard where my house is. It's like I have a lot of room, so I have 2 buildings, and one of the buildings I had loaded with all of the exercise equipment that I purchased years ago, and I was using it, but it's just so hard to go out there in the summer. So I actually moved it all into the living room here in the house, and I have AC in there and a fan, so I can work out and remain relatively cool. In fact, here in a week or 2, I'm actually going to move my side of Get the Skinny into that room and sort of use that as the backdrop. So it'll mix up things a little bit, and it'll sort of give you an idea of what my routine is, at least, or what it should be or could be based on what I have.
This is pretty much going to be my backdrop. I'm not changing that.
Yeah,
but
it's awesome.
But
I love it.
Lots of toys. So
lots of toys.
But yeah, so like I said, I didn't get a solid weight this morning, but I know I weighed about last week, and I'm somewhere around, like I said, 490, 495, somewhere in there. I lost a lot. A colonoscopy does a lot to make you lose weight, believe it or not. So
didn't John Wayne have like 50 pounds of stuff in his colon when he was dead?
No.
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 Your colon doesn't really hide a lot of weight, contrary to what people who try to sell you detoxing stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
This is for a medical purpose.
Yeah.
So.
It was different than that. So don't think that he.
No, this was not.
He wasn't
for the purpose of
detoxed.
weight loss. It worked really well though. I almost got dehydrated though.
Wasn't a colonic.
Completely. No, not a. Oh god.
He didn't have like a buxom woman shove a pipe up his butt.
That'll be another show. We'll talk about that on another show.
Yes.
But this show, we're going to get the skinny on HCG here in a little bit. But so what did you weigh in today then, Brian?
About 347.
347. And where did you start?
About 350.
Okay, so we're kind of back at the beginning, but for 5 episodes, and
we're only 5 episodes in, JD.
Really, this is sort of, I would say this is sort of like the 2.0.
Yes.
We'll call it GTS 2.0, because this is really like we've had enough of a break that no one remembers. So,
we got a couple people.
Well, that's not bad.
We actually have a Twitter feed.
So, we do have a Twitter feed.
I don't even remember what it is.
It's, I have it on
at GTS Podcast.
Yeah, it's at GTS Podcast.
I need to change the lower thirds on the screen to at GTS Podcast. I'll do that later.
I have access to that.
Yeah, you can actually watch us at gettheskinny.org.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway. HCG. I know lots of people who've lost weight on HCG. They swear by it. So it's got to be a good thing, right?
Well, no.
But they've lost weight, JD.
Yes. So that's the deal. So HCG. There's a couple of different things. And that's it. Like anything, there's a certain basis for what HCG is and what it does. So at its basis, HCG itself is it's basically a hormone.
Yeah.
What it does is it's typically used for anyway. Is again, I'm not a doctor. What it's typically used for is as a during pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And what it sort of does is it helps to reinforce the growth of healthy vascular system.
It's a naturally occurring hormone that's generated during pregnancy, isn't it? That's what I
believe so.
Yeah.
But it's actually administered as well, I think, to help reinforce that process.
Gotcha.
So that's essentially what it's used for.
But that, of course, that helps people lose weight. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Right. So, anyway, so HCG. Now, this is a little bit of the history of HCG. Now, I'm taking this, so take some of this with a grain of salt, and I'll pick it apart as we go. But this is actually from the HCG Diet Council.org website. They have a history of the weight loss. So back in the 1950s, Dr. Simonson? Yes.
Yeah.
He was a British endocrinologist. He was working with the amino acid, the HCG, and he was using it. He was treating adolescents, I guess, who had low testosterone levels with HCG, and he observed, rather, I guess, keenly, that they were losing fat, but not lean muscle mass. And so he hypothesized that it must be the HCG, because he was given an HCG, that had to be the thing that was making the difference. So he went on and kind of experimented on it with other women and different combinations and people, and came up with this HCG diet, where they went on a particular diet, and then he administered the HCG as well, and people lost weight, and it was amazing. Now,
wow,
yeah, and it was really, really popular back in the mid '60s. In '67, he actually published a book called Pounds and Inches: A New Approach to Obesity, and several people picked up on it. This was really popular in Europe, and it was also really popular in the U.S. as well. And then, now, according to the website, of course, it waned in the 70s. I'll come back to that in a minute. But then it was sort of reinvigorated about 4 or 5 years ago when Kevin Trudeau...
Oh, God.
Yeah, Kevin Trudeau, in his book, The Weight Loss Cure, What They Don't Want You to Know, included information on the HCG diet as a part of the information that was in the book. I used that word liberally. Anyway, so that sort of is what has caused this modern revigoration, reinterest in HCG as a dietary method. Now, I mentioned it waned back in the 70s. That was probably due in large part to the fact that there were a lot of really good studies that were conducted back in the 70s on the HCG diet. Now, here, what I love is this quote. So, over the years, the HCG diet popularity declined, mostly due to the attrition of practitioners who believed in and understood Dr. Simonson's work.
Understood.
Even though there were several HCG diet studies conducted in the mid-70s, they did not follow Simonson's protocol exactly, and Simonson's HCG diet never received FDA approval for better weight loss results than common dieting.
Well, they don't want you to know.
Right. So this is very veiled language. What this means is, and what the results are essentially, is that several studies were conducted in the 70s. They actually did things like double-blinded the studies and controlled for placebo and those kinds of things. And guess what? No variation, no differentiation between HCG and placebo.
Okay, so, but like I said, my cousin lost weight on this. My friend Amanda lost weight on this. I mean, it's amazing, the results. I mean, my cousin Ryan went from really big to itty bitty, teeny tiny, skinny, and he looks great now. Right.
So let's talk about that particular bit of it. So the HCG protocol calls for you to take a small dosage of the HCG. It's
a shot, isn't it?
It's a shot. There's a pill as well that you can take. It's really it's actually a fairly small dose. It really
it's so powerful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's got to be really potent stuff. 125 IUs. So
international
really
units,
small.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty small. I don't know exactly how small, but it's small.
Well, I mean, that depends on the potency of or how powerful it is. That could be
right.
a lot for one thing and not a lot for another.
Right. Depends on what it is.
It's so powerful.
It's not a large amount of it per se, but anyway. So that's the pill part of it. Now here's the trick: the diet portion of it.
You can eat what you want, as much of it as you want.
No, not so much. The diet control portion of the HCG diet. And here's the kicker, kids: 500 calories a day.
What?
500 calories a day. So
you could take like a Snickers fun size bar and like 500 calories a day every day, and you're going to lose weight.
Absolutely right, because what do we love to say on this show? It's calories in, calories out, right? That's really what it comes down to. That's what really causes the weight loss in this diet. It's why there's no variation between the placebo and the HCG. The HCG is doing absolutely nothing. What is causing the effect? Well, there's some studies that in some cases it might have some small effect. I think there was a Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism that showed maybe some effect on lean body mass in older men with androgen deficiency, but by and large, and I'm not really big on meta-analysis, but I mean, if you look at the cross cut of all the studies that have been done, there's really just no variation between placebo and the HCG. Why? Because the important part is the diet. If you go back to the paragraph itself, when they say that the studies didn't hold to Simonson's protocol, what they're really saying is that they didn't adhere to the strict calorie intake that was prescribed by the diet itself. So I happen to have here a list. This is the actual list that I got from a coworker, which is the Protocol 2 HCG Diet. I'm just read some of this to you here. First of all, of course, this controls for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast consists of tea, coffee, soda water, mineral water, or water in any quantity without sugar. Only 1 tablespoon of milk is allowed in a 24-hour period. Artificial sweeteners may be used. That's it for breakfast, kids. You get liquids. Lunch and dinner is one from each of the following 4 categories. Now, laying this out here, you give a proteins, a vegetables, a fruits, and a bread. The bread's the easiest one. 20 calories, you either get 1 breadstick or 1 Melba toast.
What?
That's it for your carbs there. So, proteins, there's any kinds of a list of, now, great stuff here. So, 3.5 ounces or 100 grams by weight, with all visible fat removed. Cook without additional fat. No salmon, eel, tuna, herring, dried, pickled fish. Can't have any fish, basically, I guess.
This sounds awful.
No turkey.
This sounds dangerous.
Chicken breast must be removed from the bird. Let's see. Fresh white fish, tilapia, orange, roughy, halibut, cod, flounder, crab meat, lobster, scallops. So these are your meat choices, basically.
So you can get like bottom dwellers, the
Right.
crab-eating fish.
Right. But none of the good, tasty stuff.
Yeah.
Fruits, choose 1 fruit per meal, at least 6 hours apart. Fruits may be eaten between meals instead. Apple, large, orange, medium, grapefruit, strawberries. So now from your meats, you can only have 110 to 140 calories of meat. Fruits is 70 to 80 calories. Now you can cheat your fruits and make a smoothie for breakfast, but you can't eat them later in the day. Vegetables, that's pretty standard. Do not mix vegetables. Only 1 vegetable choice per meal.
What's the logic behind this diet? I mean, why is it so? What's the prescription on this? Why is it this way?
And that part is it's hard to say. I think that comes down to whatever the protocols that Simonson came up with.
Is it quackery?
I think it is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think as typical with a lot of these things, I'll give Simonson the benefit of the doubt, which is that, he's doing a particular experiment, he's researching a particular thing, and it happens. You make a it's the inductive versus the deductive, reasoning. When you assume that something is so because you see it, It's like correlation is not necessarily causation.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think that, he saw the difference based on the HCG being administered, which is what he was administering. Not to mention the fact that these were like starving children in India. So that he was experimenting on. So not taking that into account, and I think that is probably what led to it partially. He was looking and saying, well, these kids had really low calorie diets, so this must be contributing to it. It basically, once he made the conclusion that the HCG was the thing, he never deviated from that. Like that became the thing. So even though the fact that he's looking at a 500 calorie a day diet and that being a ridiculously low calorie count. I mean, calorie count you're talking should be what? I mean, depending on...
Well, I mean, it depends on your mass and everything and how...
But, I mean, for an average person, I think...
I mean, of course, the U.S. standard is 2,000 calories in a day. And that's,
Right.
That's using old math.
Yeah, that can be high. I've heard between... I mean, again, we're not doctors or dietitians, but, I usually say if you're in
trying
shape
to...
and you're...
How active you are, too.
And active you are. If you're in shape, active, moderately active, somewhere between like 12 to 16 is probably...
I would say if you're moderately active, you probably need more. If you're hyperactive, not like literally hyperactive, but if you're like an athlete, there's nothing wrong with you eating probably 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day.
No, easy. And also it depends again, like for us.
I try to stick to 1,500 calories a day to lose weight.
1,500 somewhere in there.
Because my metabolic rate and everything probably anything under 3,200 calories is weight loss.
You chew caffeine, so you're probably
a little bit.
So me, I would probably I don't know where I would be, but anyway. So I think that somewhere the blinders got put on, and he just never put the two and two together. Like, oh, this is a ridiculously low calorie count, and the HCG probably has nothing to do with it. I think, and of course, once you get popularity and notoriety, in that field, it's hard to get out of that as well. When it became the thing he became known for. I mean, that was essentially his life's work at that point. So I don't know. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he just did some bad science and just never. It's like the same guy that did the. Like vaccine studies or whatever. It's like you just did bad science and then you just got so attached to it that you can't get out of it. So, but basically the skinny on this is that it's an extremely low calorie diet. It's just like any low calorie diet. It's not the other stuff that's making you lose weight. It's the low calorie diet. The danger with a diet like this is that one, it's so low that you're probably...
In starvation mode.
Right. You're in starvation mode. You're going to plateau. You're causing probably damage to your body potentially.
You'll burn muscle.
Right. You're going to burn muscle. You're going to plateau. And it's one of those that once you stop the diet, you're going to gain all of that weight back again. It really is not conducive. As we say, it's all about like lifestyle changes, and this isn't something that you can make a lifestyle change to.
No.
This is not a sustainable diet.
No. You wouldn't want it to be.
No. So yeah, you're going to lose a ton of weight, and then you're going to gain all that weight back.
Yeah.
Because your body is it's starving.
Yeah.
It's absolutely starving. So, much like any other, like I said, much like any other starvation diet, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And the HCG has nothing to do with it. I don't know what the studies are in terms, and I don't know if there's a lot of long-term studies in terms of if there are any long-term negative effects of the HCG itself. I would be concerned about that as well. But it is important to remember too that this is not HCG itself has FDA approval.
Yes,
right?
for one purpose.
So a doctor can prescribe it because it's an approved medication. Problem is it's not recommended for the treatment of weight loss. So that's really not what it's designed for. It's not what it's used for. So even though you're going to a weight loss doctor and they're, prescribing it to you, that's not what it's meant for. It's not what it's used for. So, but don't take my word for it. Do some research on it. There's a great article. I'm not one to really pump the HuffPo, but there is a HuffPo article from January from Dr. David Katz, and he lists and references several studies on HCG and weight loss, and gives sort of the summation of the research, plus gives the reference numbers and everything. So you actually look that research up yourself. Highly recommend that you do that. Just do a little bit of looking online as well. I mean, just like with any weight loss program, you need to inform yourself, the good and bad. Be skeptical. Look at what you're doing. And hey, listen to us, because we're going to try to be talking about a lot of different weight loss protocols. And
I will try all of the quacky diets that you can throw at me.
So there you go. But that's pretty much it. I mean, as far as HCG, like I said, it's just a small calorie diet. Yeah, you're going to lose weight, and you're going to get back.
Yep, awesome. Okay, hey, so go ahead and you can check out our archive of shows.
All 4 of them.
At gettheskinny.org. You can follow us on Twitter at GTS Podcast. You can also learn about all of our other shows at tfradio.net and follow our primary Twitter feed at TF Radio. Anything else going on this week, JD?
I don't think so. I'm hopefully just going to start walking maybe this week. So
good deal. I am probably not working out this evening because it's nearly 9 o'clock. But I try not to work out too late because I don't want to cause restlessness and such. But I'm working out a routine, working out as soon as I get home, which is about 7 o'clock every day, except for Thursdays. So.
Nice.
Good deal. Okay, so we will be back next week. We record the show. We're trying to on Thursdays, and we'll post the show on Friday. If you want to watch it live, let us know. But until there's actually demand for it, we'll just record it and post it. We do most of our other stuff live, but
no reason
to. No reason at all. Okay, well, we'll talk to you next week. JD, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you out there for watching. This was Get the Skinny.
This has been Get the Skinny with your hosts, Brian Kilby and JD Church. Copyright 2010 Radio Free Cybertron. Get the